Hey everybody, sitting down with Benny Hogge. He's got a story he wants to share with us, so go ahead, Benny.
In 1956, working James River, and first oyster season, it was 500 boats, tongboats, on Rack Shoals. There were 2 to 3 people on a boat, and they would get so close to you, you would have to push them off to dump your tong.
Wow.
And over 50 bar boats. And I'll tell you, somebody that has a book with a picture of them is Melvin Ward, lives on Messick Road, almost to the point.
All right.
I think he's still living. I'm not positive. But,
Right.
You might go down there and talk to him. He'll probably show you that book with, with the 500 boats on Rock Shoals working.
Wow.
And it was, like I say, you could walk from one boat to the other.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And they would have to run and stagger through a boat to run ahead to make another drag.
Mm-hmm.
That was a sight to see.
And always plenty of oysters.
And always plenty of oysters.
Yeah.
E.T. Firth
They didn't get
and
caught
his
up.
brother, Gene, was, I guess Gene was probably a teenager. And he was working 22 teeth tong heads with 7 balls. And they, one day, first day of the season, they caught and put out 312 bushels of oysters, seed oysters.
Wow.
One day, those 2. That was in the 50s.
Right.
If you want to go to Melvin Ward's house, I'm sure he will welcome you.
I hear that.
And he's got a book with the pictures into them.
Right.
He used to have.
Right.
I'm sure he still got them.
You talking about like a photo album with photo
Yeah,
pictures?
yeah.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So, did E.T. did he have the silver sprayed in? Did he have that there? So I mean, it was small. It was smaller
He
boats
had a
back
little,
then.
Probably a 38-foot roundstone boat, real small boat.
Yeah, it had 350 bushels on her.
Not at one time. They put out 3 times.
Oh, they put out 3
Yeah.
times. Okay, I
They
got
would
you.
catch them, run to the market boat, put them
Yeah.
out, go back.
Yeah,
And
it had 50 market boats on here.
over 50 market boats laying above,
Yeah.
up above Rock Shoals.
Couldn't
Right.
even get them all in Deep Creek. They would have to anchor
Yeah.
in Swash's Hole in different places.
Right.
Go up in Pagan River and stuff, so just so they could find somewhere to lay for the night.
Yeah.
So, you know the story about going up in the creek, laying up overnight, and would get a
Yes, sir.
visitor?
Yes,
Nelly?
sir. Nelly.
Yeah. Can you
I
tell
never
it?
did hear.
Can you tell it?
I never did hear. I never did go in there at night. I've been in there in the daytime, but I heard a lot about her. She would tell people how many matches they had in a matchbox, and they would say, Nellie, how many matches do I have? And she would knock on the cabin, and they would count them, and that would be the exact amount of matches that they would have in
Wow.
the box.
I made the mistake of laughing at Mr. Jones Wilbur Firth one day. I loved him to death.
Yeah.
But James Wilbur had a temper that would go off just like
Yeah.
that if you made him angry. And he was telling me about the night that him and Tom Hogge spent in Mills Creek, and she got in the boat with them. And I kind of giggled and said, "Come on, James Wilbur, you don't believe that." And his eyes got to blinking, and his face got all puffed up and red, and he got. I didn't know if he was going to hurt me or what. I didn't believe in ghosts back then. Things have happened since then that have changed my mind. I don't have any doubts about that kind of stuff anymore. I tell you, my grandpapa, John Riley Firth, I asked him one time when I was a much younger man, I said, "Well, Papa, if ghosts exist, how come we don't hear them now like y'all used to when y'all were coming along?" He said, "Well, stick your head outdoors and tell me what you hear." said, well, automobiles, airplanes, helicopters, people's televisions playing and stuff like that. And he said, that's right. He said, when I was a boy coming along, there weren't none of those things. And people paid a lot more attention to the things that went on around them.
Yeah.
So I don't laugh at people anymore when they say they saw a ghost or heard a ghost or anything. I have experienced them myself, and I know that a lot of people don't believe them. Don't believe in them. They don't believe you when you tell the stories and stuff. But I never doubt what somebody else tells me now when they say that they've seen or done something, because the most outlandish claims that some people make are and have been proven to be facts.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could prove a ghost story to somebody, but unless they see it for themselves. But once we turn this video camera off, I'll tell you about mine.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I hear that.
The Bible calls them familiar spirits. I don't know what that means.
Right.
But I've heard big people, educated people, Bible scholars, say that they were familiar spirits.
Right. That's it.
So, I
Hmm.
don't know.
All right. Well, I'll share one thing that you were talking about 50 buy boats. Now look, let me ask you this. I ask everybody. Was it back then when you were working, was it a buy boat or was it a market boat?
Both.
Okay.
They were both.
So they
were
did
buy
use
boat,
both terms?
Market, buying oysters. So I guess you'd call them a buy market boat.
Yeah,
Buy boat,
but
market boat.
I think he wants to know what everybody called them, all the watermen called them.
Yeah.
Market boat.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Market boat.
I know they were always called market boats.
Yeah.
And
if they ran a flag up one of the stay wires, you know what that meant.
Yeah, paying more.
Paying a little bit more money or tipping.
You
Right.
can look down the river from the bridge, and they were being lined coming up the channel, 15 or 20 at the time.
Right. Well,
That,
when Daddy and Herbert was oystering, I guess, he would tell me the story. I'm not sure whether Herbert was with him or... Did you ever know Raymond Crow?
Yeah.
I know he worked with Daddy some. I don't know how much, but Daddy and somebody would be tonging and somebody be culling, and Daddy would look and he'd say, well, here comes so-and-so,
Buck toad.
and they would say, what are you talking about? I don't see nothing coming. And they couldn't even see nothing coming. And he would say, you see that, look over there, you see that rigging right there?
Yeah.
And he could tell them exactly which boat it was, who was coming and everything.
They knew.
Yeah.
Everybody knew the market boat, the buy boat.
Yeah.
Everybody knew who it was.
Right.
Buck toad, Ollie Travis, Everett Newman, everybody. People
Ward
I can't
brothers.
remember.
James Ward.
James Ward, Willie Ward, Lula Phillips. Willie Ward was captain of the Lula Phillips,
Right.
and so
What about?
Johnny Ward,
Leonard
Bobby
Burton,
W.
Jennings Burton.
Yeah. Yeah. And who's it?
Jennings Burton and
Oh,
Leonard Burton.
yeah. Meredith will love that.
Yeah.
Mention her daddy.
They knew. You knew. Just like
He was a good man.
Just like you
He
know
was a
your
good man to
fingers.
deal with.
Yeah. Well, all of you knew each other and you all worked together,
Yeah.
That's the only way.
I'm sure your daddy was up there when that was going on in the 50s.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was
Tipping.
up there. He was older than your daddy was a little bit older than me,
Right.
maybe 4 or 5 years.
Uh-huh.
And he knew.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
up there working.
The market boat captain's practice of tipping and allowing the watermen to put out half bushels for bushels and stuff like that.
Some of them.
Well, if they had a small boat and you didn't fill the tub up, they didn't say anything.
Right.
But that's one of the reasons that when they started shipping oysters in trucks and the inspector standing right there watching, you had to fill the tub up, all of a sudden the catch went way down on paper.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons why the statistics have been so hard to verify and whatnot. I know that, and I don't want to besmirch the gentleman's name, everybody knows him, but one of the market boat captains that Daddy and I sold to a lot gave you a bushel for every 10. So if you put out 100 bushels, he paid you 110.
Yeah.
If you put out 150, he paid you 165. And when at the end of the year the state collected that data, all of those extra 15 bushels, extra bushel per 10, were just marks on a piece of paper. They never existed
Right.
to begin with. So when they took those back up, they said, well, I planted this many bushels of oysters, but I only got this many back. Well, no, you didn't. You never had that many. And that was the common practice.
Sometimes you try to explain cribbing to somebody.
They don't know.
Y'all know all about
Yes,
it.
sir.
Tell them a little bit about it. How you rounding the edges and.
Daddy taught me I could fill an oyster tub up in 3 shovels.
Yeah.
But if it bumped the cone board or the combing on the way out,
Right.
it would sink down in the middle. And
Yeah.
Bozo Burton used to be an inspector,
Mhm.
and he came to me one day and he said, Jeff, put a little more on to the next one now. And I said, well, it hit the side of the boat. It hit the side of the boat, Bozo. He said, yeah, but you could set a damn goose in it. and they knew what you were doing. But
Yeah.
it's no different when you buy a box of cereal or a bag of potato chips.
Right.
Nowadays, you open the top on it and it ain't but half full.
Yeah, I know it. That's a good one. I ain't heard that one.
You try to do whatever you can do to make the most amount of money, and
Right.
if you could fill it up in 3 tubs and there's room enough for a basketball, in the middle of it somewhere, you just did your job well.
Exactly.
You did your job well. That's all.
All right, well,
All right.
I've enjoyed speaking with you all. It's been a great time, and I know everybody's going to enjoy hearing this, and so we just want to say thank you to all of y'all and for watching and participating, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.